I would say my CPA set me free. It allowed me to do something that I don't think most people get the chance to do. I get to do pretty much what I want to do. I get to work with the type of client I want to work with. I do the type of work that I want to work with, and I get to control how I develop as a CPA. I get to pick my own trainings. And
hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And for the new viewers, it's Sharon Anuma. I am the director of the channel, the CPA Experience. This channel is dedicated to bringing you tips and tricks on how to pass your CPA exam and also help you create a CPA career that you really enjoy. And also, I'm really excited to be kicking off a new series here, actually a series to spotlight different CPAs at different points in their careers and have them share their CPA journey and their CPA experience with you guys. A way to inspire you guys and show you guys what's out there and what's there for the profession. So I'm actually really excited here. I'm in North Carolina at the AICPA headquarters with my friend Jeff. We currently serve on the AICPA committee, the recruitment committee together. I met Jeff 2 years ago serving on this committee, and I think he's a really great person, genuine personality, and I think he was a really great person to kick off this series. Now I'll let Jeff go ahead and introduce himself, and I'll ask him a few questions about his journey for him to share that with you guys. So Jeff, you can go ahead and get started.
Sure. So hello everyone. My name is Jeff Wilson. I am a CPA PFS credential holder. I am from the Washington DC, Maryland area, Fort Washington, Maryland to be exact. I have been a CPA for going on about close to eight to 9 years now. I've had the experience. I currently am the principal and run an accounting firm called the W2 Group. Started, I'm a Bowie State alumni, and I'm glad to be here with Sharon here in Raleigh, Durham. It's great that we met up, even though we're both in the DC area. And we meet up in North Carolina, so it was great. And so yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned. That's true. We're actually very close in the DC area, and he works direct in DC, very close to me. But we had the opportunity to be down here for a meet, and I was like, why not just record down here where everyone's like ready, already here. But yeah, it's good to hear you currently now own your own business. Can you just give us a brief picture about your career path and how you got here, and
sure,
like where you started your career?
Sure. Yeah, my career path was kind of interesting. I didn't necessarily know where it was going to necessarily lead to. I started my career out when I first came. I worked for a small firm in Maryland during taking internships during school, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the CPA exam. But I did that during my senior year. I was an auditor, did like audit benefit plans, and then when I graduated, I started at KPMG, and I was there for a few years, and that's where I got my CPA. I got my CPA during my first year there. After that, I was doing federal audit. So one of my great stories, if you ever talk to me, is that I spent a few years auditing federal prison. So I just would go my site visits were every week. I was at a new federal prison doing accounting work
around the DC area.
No, around the U.S.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that can burn you out though.
Yeah.
You're traveling every week, but it was a great experience and it taught me a lot. And so leaving KPMG, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and what it was about, it's a great organization, taught me a lot of it, if not everything I know about the profession, but I wanted to do something and have a little bit more control over my career. And I wanted to kind of, I always say I wanted to paint my own Picasso instead of, the traditional firm, your roadmaps laid out for you, right? And I wanted to kind of pick it and play with it a little bit myself. I actually ended up leaving the firm and going to the Bureau of Economic Analysis for a little while and studying, doing some work there during the Great Recession. So it was great that, not that the recession happened, but I got to work on banking and looking at banking statistics or operations during the recession. And after that, I had a good run at the National Credit Union Administration. So I did federal government, actually did it, and being the senior accountant for the Sharon Insurance Fund. And during those times, after I left KPMG, I actually started my firm, and it was very small. You probably had 2 clients. That means just your mom and your uncle are your only clients. And then every year it got bigger and bigger. And what I told myself, and I did that in, you figure that's 2008. When I did that, 2009, something like that. And I decided that it kept growing every year, and I knew one day, it will grow to the point where I could not multitask a normal 9 to 5.
Yeah,
and it was going to be time for me to go. And so 2 years into running the Sharon Insurance Fund, being a senior accountant there, it came to a head, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just do this full time. And that's how I got here.
So how long have you been doing your business full time now?
Oh, we're in 17. About 7 years.
Oh,
7,
wow,
8 years.
7 years.
So
that's good. So I get a few questions from my viewers, from my audience, about public accounting and going into public accounting after college and owning their own business. How would you say public accounting shaped you and helped you get ready to own your own business?
Oh, you need it because there's lessons and disciplines that you only can get in public accounting.
Right.
And I probably could have only gotten from KPMG. Like my level of discipline and understanding and being so really proficient at knowing the rules, what needs to be done. That there's a reason that the Big Four is because of quality.
Right.
And most of the time there is a precedence for how your work needs to be, versus if you go somewhere else that may not be there. So I think I take that same Big Four quality and work ethic to what I do now. So I think you need it, and because it's making sure you cross your I's and dot your T's there. So it gives you that's why you need it. And then 2, you understand how a firm works. If you're going to be a sole practitioner, you need to know how a firm works, which is you think you think it's just okay, they bill me out and then they get paid and that's how it works. It's much more to it, and so you learn more about how to manage a firm and what do you have to do. You see your manager, you're like, what paperwork is he doing? You figure out what paperwork he's really doing, so you learn those things.
Learn how to collect the bills, bill the client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I got one better. Make sure the engagement letter's signed.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know about the engagement letter, and you need that. You need to have those things, and so to make sure you and the client agree with what's going on, and so it's those things that you do, making sure the rep letter's signed. That matters. So those are the things I don't think why you need public accounting, because it's those things that help you understand if you go on your own. Oh, this is what you need to do. Like I know practitioners that do not do engagement letters, they just do work, and which is a dangerous way to practice. And so, but I got that installed for me from working at a firm. So I think public accounting is great. I ain't saying you gotta be there forever, but you definitely need that experience. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think it'll be very hard for a person. It'd be very hard to run a practice not working at a firm. Not doing it before, just going out and doing it now. It's not gonna happen. It's not. We don't work in that profession.
I agree.
That type of profession.
So what would you say has been the highlight of your career thus far? Like if you can look back the many years you've been a CPA, you've been in the profession, what can you name one point that you say, okay, that has been the highlight of my career?
Probably I passed the CPA exam was probably the highlight.
It
doesn't get any better than that.
I know.
I was like, oh, finally
done.
it's over. I would probably say passing the CPA exam was a good highlight. I'm also a PFS, a personal financial specialist, and that was another highlight too. And it was a highlight because I really have a passion for financial planning and financial literacy. So it was kind of one of those things where it was such a hard exam. The fact that I got past it, that's probably, truthfully, I feel like that one's harder than the CPA exam. And to get that one was a really, really, really good feeling. And then I think every day is a good feeling in the sense of just being able to still be open and pay my employees is a good moment. Yeah,
that's good. And speaking of the CPA exam, it's a highlight for me as well. And I know a lot of people who watch my channel ask questions about studying for the exam, ask questions about how it is that you pass. Can you share some tips on how you studied, how you passed, and maybe tips for people who are currently studying for the exam?
I mean, what I did is I did some research, and so I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but what I did is I looked at, in my state, I looked at actually when when I looked at the passing statistics when people passed it during the times, because you can see during what periods people they're taking exams and stuff like that. And so I had this theory on this, right? And my theory was I never took an exam on the off season
when less people were taking.
No, it wasn't that. I never took it on the off season of the group. So example. And when Christmas time came, like I would never take the tax exam because all the tax guys are in there. All the tax practitioners are taking it. I'm not taking tax. I'm an audit guy, so they're gonna run that curve. That's gonna be a tough day. So I wouldn't take it there. I would take tax during tax busy season. When tax people are working. Yeah, it's just me and all the rest of the auditors. So that was kind of one of my strategies, and like I'm gonna wait. And so I would do that. And if it was like whenever if you figure most audit clients are 1231 clients. I take my exam, and I take audit, in that first half of the year where they should be closing the audit or something. So just don't want to mess up the curve a little bit. So that was one of my things, and then two, just being focused, man. We weren't in the age of so much social media and technology, but what I did is I found a little room in my mom's house with nothing there, and I just did not have any technology. It was just me, a book, and a highlighter. I burned up some highlighters, but you have to get the distraction because you need efficient. Like some people like study with the TV on and all this stuff. You need efficient, effective study time. So it was like no technology, highlighter, book, let's go. And even if I had needed my computer like for Becker or something, because I did use Becker, I just turned the internet. Like I would turn the internet off so I just wouldn't get any Wi-Fi. And I just made myself do deliberate studying.
Because I think that's a good point you mentioned. Because whenever I encourage people when people are studying, it's focused studying, not distraction. Because that's when you're retaining the information. You're absorbing the information and you can retain it for the exam. Because it's not just reading through and not retaining the information. Because there's a lot of material you need to cover for the exam.
Absolutely.
So making sure that you can retain
more and more. Yeah. So you got to just make sure you're doing intentional studying. And you need to go back verbatim and constantly test yourself to make sure you get it. And then one thing I say is I'm a dedicated learner. But what I've learned, I figured is that I prefer to make sure I understood the concepts. I never studied just to pass an exam.
Right.
I studied to make sure I understood exactly what it was. So when I'm in a situation, even if it's like, and we're moving to a more case study model now, right? So now you got to really know and navigate the theory of why it's doing that. So I encourage people to not only study with the intent of remembering per se, but of understanding.
Because now, just like he mentioned with the changes, because the CPA exam just recently changed and they're testing higher order skills, which means they want to test how you can apply the knowledge to the material. So it's not enough to just like memorize the information and just
remember a test bank of questions. That's
not going to be sufficient anymore. It's actually understanding why, understanding the principles, and understanding the concept.
Correct.
And speaking of the CPA exam and people passing, I hear a lot of people say, accountants are just number crunchers. They just sit in the room and crunch numbers. And I think that's far from the truth. And thinking of you and owning your own firm and working with a lot of people, what would you say is the one skill that you see that is critical for someone who wants to join this profession to be successful in this profession?
That's an interesting one because you caught me off guard with that question. There's a way. The accounting profession is interesting because I think we pull in two different types of people. We pull people that are really introverts. Accounting, there are a group of introverts in accounting, and as long as you're very, very technical, we got a place for introverts. We put them in a little room by themselves, and we give them a bunch of books and just ask them for answers. So they got those real technicals. But for what I do and to run your own practice, what you really, it's not about the numbers are great. I always tell people I focus on the numbers are afterthought. I'm a CPA. I should know that. It's the communication, being able to communicate and orate what's going on, what's happening, or what's going to happen. And that is what the skill your client's paying for. I mean, there's a reason why there was a bookkeeper was created, and then there was an accountant. So it's not just about keying in the numbers. It's about being able to kind of communicate those to them and what those numbers can pose or risks they may pose to us, or what good things may come from them. But being able to communicate that clearly, like yourself in this right here, being able to communicate is going to be, it's really one of the top skills. That's the one that separates you from a lot of things. I mean, if you look at firms, some of the people that are partners aren't necessarily the most technical people. They could great communicators.
Relationship. Staying connected
correctly.
with people.
And they know how to communicate and keep that going. So
that's a good point. is there something, like being in the profession now, being a CPA, is there something you know about the profession now that you didn't know going in?
Yeah, I thought it was all about numbers. I thought I could get away with just, being able to read a balance sheet or a P&L, but I learned that it was more about, communicating with others the risks and what were going on. So I didn't realize it was much. I spend much more time talking than I do kind of doing the debits and the credits. It's not the T accounts are kind of old news to me. We're not really focused on that.
That's something I noticed too. Like you think, okay, yeah, it's accounting, it's debits, it's credits. You're doing math, numbers, but there's more involvement with people. There's more communication with your client. There's more understanding of your client's business, understanding the business they run, and how you can add value to that. Besides just doing the numbers every single day.
Exactly. Yeah, because if you understand, because if the numbers help you understand the business and tell you things that you may not have seen initially. And so you need to understand the numbers, be able to tell the client more about their business, and then to understand the little intrinsics, of the business. So I agree.
I have 2 more questions. So if you had one advice for someone who was studying for the CPA or someone in accounting in college, what advice would that be? Like if you were going to leave them with one advice.
I would say my advice would be try to pass your CPA as soon as possible, right? So, have your plan laid out and lay out the plan. Create a plan for passing the CPA. Like where I'm going to pass it by this month, and then I'm going to move on to this section, and then have that plan laid out and stick to that plan, and have those dates set. When I studied, I locked my date in. I was like, oh, there ain't no turning back. Now, I made sure my date was always the last day to take it, though. I gave myself as much time as possible, but I locked myself in to make sure it's the last day of the testing period, and I would go anywhere. I would go to Eastern Shore, Maryland, just because I wanted the last day in it, but I make sure I locked those days in, and I stuck with the plan. I created a plan. Don't go now willy-nilly. Create a study plan to get it done, and meet those deadlines, because accounting is the same thing. See, you have deadlines. You got April 15th for your tax. You got the April 17th if you want it. You got October. We have deadlines. So and so you have to learn to meet those deadlines as well. That would be one of my other things. And then 2, become once you're in, become more involved. AI CPA, MA CPA, learn how to be a part of understand that you're a part. The CPA is a designation and it's a profession, but it's also a part of we're bigger than just that, and it's kind of like a family, and we're all and we all have the same agenda, and that's to keep the CPA as one of the most respected professions.
Right, exactly. Staying connected with the people, staying connected with the network of people, because that's how you grow, and that's how you really relate to people and understand the career journeys and how you can advance your career. So my last question is, if you were to describe your CPA experience in one word, what word would you use?
I would say my CPA set me free. Okay. It set me free.
Yes.
It allowed me to do something that I don't think most people get the chance to do. I get to do pretty much what I want to do.
That's good.
Like I get to work with the type of client I want to work with. I do the type of work that I want to work with, and I get to control how I develop as a CPA. I get to pick my own trainings, and so my CPA gave me the ability to kind of, like I said, paint my own Picasso and be the CPA that I wanted to be. I didn't want to be. I wanted to know things, more than just general ledger accounting, and my CPA set me free to learn whatever I wanted to learn.
That's good. That's good to know. Well, thank you guys for watching. I really had a great time having you here, Jeff. And where can they find you online? You can find me on Twitter at JWills, JWILZ CPA. Also, I'm known as the coolest CPA in the U.S. and you can also find us the W2 Group, our firm's website, WIICPAs.com. Like I said, this channel is dedicated to bringing you tips to pass your exam and create a CPA career that you really enjoy. And just like Jeff said, his CPA set him free and allowed him to really paint his own picture and paint his own career, paint his own Picasso, and just create the career that he really actually enjoys and likes doing every day. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Great, thanks. Have a great one. I'm at the AICPA today for a town hall meeting. I had the great honor of being on the panel with this amazing CPAs, young CPAs. and answering questions about the profession and about young CPAs and the future of the profession was really, really great experience. So this is the AICPA building. It's just raining.